Today we're talking about the key element of a really thriving environment for staff so that they can learn and grow and challenge each other around what they think and how they work. And it comes down to relationships, and it comes down to the quality of the relationships of the people within the teams, within the whole organisation. So today I'd like to talk to you about a few key elements, really easy things that you can do, either as a leader or as a member of a team, to actually build trust with the people that you work with. In terms of the brain, trust and distrust are really interesting things in what it does for us. When we sit in trust, we tend to flood the brain with oxytocin and dopamine, which are the feel-good chemicals. When we do this, what we do is we move to the front of the brain, the executive function of the brain, where we can collaborate, we can learn, we can problem solve, and it's our rational thinking part of the brain. When we sit in distrust, the chemicals that are involved are cortisol and adrenaline, which cause us to do a bit of shutdown, and we withdraw and we retreat. So that element of trust is vital for us to be able to step into a space of growth. One of the things that organisations often say to me when I work with teams is, we don't have the trust to be able to make the transformation that we need. So here are a few of my ideas about ways that you can easily build short snippets of trust and build a momentum with the people that you work with. The first one is discover. Be curious about the people that you work with. Ask them questions about what makes them tick, what's important to them, what do they value, what is it that they have done in their lives that make them who they are. When we use curiosity, we actually again flood the brain with those chemicals that help us feel good. It not only helps us to find out more about the people we work with, it also helps people feel valued and respected because you've taken time to be interested in them. My second tip is to admit. Admit our stuff-ups. We get a huge amount of brownie points where we actually sit down with someone and say, I'm sorry, I mucked that up. If we're going to be really in a space of learning, taking risks, making failures, and doing things that might not work are all part of the course. So we have to be able to stand in our vulnerability and be able to admit when we are in that space of perhaps doing something that could have been done a different way. I encourage you to have a look at the TED Talk by Brené Brown called The Power of Vulnerability. And it really talks about stepping into that space of letting your guard down and moving into a place where you own your vulnerabilities and you're willing to share them. The next tip is to appreciate. Spend some time appreciating people, even more than you might do currently. Little notes on their laptops or their iPads, some comments about something that went really well with something that they were working on that's quite specific. And if you can do it for people that aren't in your team just as much as for people that are in your team, you end up with that really great cross-team collaboration and trust starting to happen because people feel seen. It's a small thing, but it is incredibly powerful. There are many people around the place that have got this special note that might have been given to them by someone who appreciated them, and they've kept it for the whole of their career. So it's a really important and easy way to actually build trust and show that you value people. The next one is to evolve. And that's to evolve our languaging beyond denying, blaming and justifying. Taking responsibility, accountability, and actually really making sure that we're in a space where we are proactive and not in that victim space as ourselves. It can be really hard to identify our own blames and justifications, but I encourage you to keep an eye on it, because when we step into a space of acceptance and responsibility around our parts to play in building relationships, then people see us as authentic and actually being supportive. The last one is to align. And that is that place of congruence where what you think and what you say is totally aligned with what you feel and what you do. That congruence is something that we sniff out. Inauthentic people are people that send us into distrust and increase those chemicals in our brain that don't help us to work very well. So walking the talk, being congruent and authentically you is really a key and easy way to actually build trust with people. So there's my 5 tips. Have fun with them. They're not hard. They won't take you long. You don't have to sit down and do a project plan. You can easily just do it in your day-to-day workings with people. Enjoy.